Welcome to the Hub of the Show, where you can get ideas to help you grow your eco-conscious business. And today I'm joined by Alexis Bushnell from Bushnell Community Solutions, also known as at Social for Humans. And we're talking about using social media for good and also avoiding burnout. So welcome, Alexis.
Hello, it's lovely to be here.
Yeah, so great to have you on. I think this is a really good topic to be chatting about. I know there's been a lot of interest. Just a bit about Alexis. She is a social media guide for business owners with morals and manners, and she teaches organic growth strategies, community building, and effective and ethical marketing. She's also passionate about self-care, ensuring your social strategy is something you can maintain without stress or burnout. So I think we all know all about how much time social media can take up. So I'm really keen to hear some tips on that. So first of all, question is, how do we know if we are causing harm or good?
I work on like a net good model rather than am I a good person or a bad person kind of model. Because we're all causing harm just by existing, like this live doing harm, and some of it is unavoidable. But so for me, it's really about minimizing harm everywhere that is possible for me to do so. For me, I think that's like all you can do is to see what you are doing and where you can make changes. And be honest about those things. If you're doing your best, like that's all you can do. And if you discover a new thing that you're like, oh, I should have been doing this all along, don't feel bad about that, because if you implement it when you learn about it, that's fine. That's all you can do. You know, if you didn't know about it beforehand, you didn't know about it. You can't do it. But if you implement stuff as you learn about it, and when you're the things that you're actually able to, I think that's all you can do. That's what matters.
Definitely. Oh, and I know as well you're a Tackle the Crisis ambassador. Can you tell us more about this and how we can use social media to create positive change?
Tackle the Crisis is aiming to sort of spread good climate change news and reduce climate anxiety, which definitely have some of that. And I think the thing is, like, there is a lot of good stuff happening with regarding the climate and things like that, and efforts being made to improve things. And it so rarely gets talked about on the news and on social media because it's not as exciting to see, oh, this small good thing happened when this enormous horrifying thing happened. And like for me, I think it says a lot that like doom scrolling was one of Merriam-Webster's words to watch last year. And I think people are getting so hung up on seeing all the bad stuff online, it's causing a lot of anxiety in people. And so Tackle the Crisis is really about combating that and about sharing the positive news that's going on. It's about sharing information in a non-judgmental way as well, so that you can bring things to people's attention they might not have actually realized was a problem. Whether that's like the serious effects of climate change, which are kind of terrifying at the moment, especially in the global south, or whether it's sort of easy eco-friendly switches people can make. And it helps people engage with those issues without it being that sort of accusatory discussion that can often happen, I think, in person, of like, I'm vegan. And the what people hear is like, why are you not vegan? Whereas if you just share some information, people can take it on in their own way and think about it and consider what changes they can actually sort of make. So for me, it's really about like trying to point out that there is good stuff happening in the world, which can be a nice breakup in what's going on in your feed. And also just allowing people to have the information to make their own decisions and to figure out what they believe and how they want to change things.
Amazing. Yeah, that's really good. I think a lot of positivity is needed. And, not only with that, but also what COVID has brought as well. There's a lot of anxiety around that's been caused, and you do get a lot of what's called eco-shaming as well, which is really bad. It's just or going off on a straw man argument as well. So if you look at this, and then they go, oh well, actually, they look at them, they're using plastic or something like that. So it's not seeing the full picture and steps people are making. So that's brilliant. So I'll definitely look into more of that. So I know another sort of passionate thing for you, and same for me as well, when it comes to kind of the internet and our digital footprint. I mean, it is massive. They say kind of, if you were to measure it, the impact, it's like, one of the top sort of 6 things of polluters in the world. So how do you, how can we look at it? How do you track your digital footprint?
I think it's one of those things that's difficult to track because we don't have like the exact metrics of what damage each thing does. But yeah, like you were saying, like digital technologies actually cause more CO2 emissions and have a bigger impact on global warming than the entire aviation industry, which is terrifying. And like everything we do online creates emissions, literally everything: searching, sending emails, posting to social media, doom scrolling, streaming. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, streaming is the biggest contributor at the moment, especially now we've got like super duper HD video and stuff going out there, and also like cloud storage, plus cryptocurrency and NFTs, which have all the thoughts. And I think one of the main things, certainly that I'm doing, is deleting stuff. Basically, it's like digital minimalism. Like if you've taken 13 selfies and only posted one, do you need to keep all of them? Can you maybe get rid of the rest of them? And the stuff that you've sort of got backed up on the cloud that you don't actually need, delete it, and have a look at who your cloud storage is with. I was actually really surprised to discover Google is one of the most climate friendly cloud storage options. So look at who you can use to be more sort of climate friendly with those things, and choose to stream stuff less, or choose a lower quality on Netflix, on YouTube, wherever you're streaming. But it's just being aware. I think it's being aware of what you're doing, and the impact it could be having, and trying to make those little changes. Because I was horrified when I checked the carbon footprint of my website, which was actually when I discovered you, because I was like, oh, this is awful.
I know. I think one of the things where data is stored, so just like where your website's hosted, the files are stored in a data center, as is cloud storage, and that they use an enormous amount of heat and everything as well. So then you've got to cool it down, and so looking at ones which run on renewable energy. I mean, I'm looking into alternative cloud storage at the moment, because I actually found out, despite Google saying that they are very eco-friendly, I found out that a lot of their stuff is actually on using Amazon servers. So when you dig deep, you start to find out all these other things that go underneath. And so someone told me that he was looking into it, and I thought, well, that's really interesting. So, and sending an email, just sending a thank you email. If everyone stopped sending a thank you email, the amount of carbon it would save is just astronomical. So there's all these little things. So yeah, I'm all for a declutter and looking at different things like that. Then talking about sort of stress and burnout, because obviously social media takes a lot of time. What are your kind of a couple of tips that you can suggest for people managing it?
The main one is really just ignore anybody who is telling you that you have to do anything on social media, because you don't have to post a specific amount of times a week. You don't have to do video. You don't have to use specific features. So you just try and reject that narrative generally. Consistency is really what matters. As long as you are showing up for your audience and on a schedule that actually is sustainable for you, that is what's important. So if that means that you show up once a month, but you show up every single month, that's fine. You can do that. And the other thing is focus on engagement. Don't get hung up on the vanity metrics of followers and likes. If you are building real relationships, it takes time. But if you build those relationships, they are the people who then will share your stuff. They become real supporters of what you do. And they're going to recommend you to people in person, and they're going to share your stuff online. They're going to engage with your content, which is going to help you grow anyway. So it's army of those people is so much more powerful than another thing is like be brutal with who you're following. Unfollow people, block people, don't follow people because it's polite or because they've followed you. I kind of think of it as like Marie Kondoing your social media. So if something is making you feel icky, then you can unfollow. And it was one of the big things. I ran a social media spring clean challenge last week. And so many people were just like, oh, I feel so much better for just clearing out all these groups that I was in that I hated and this kind of thing. And think about like how each account you're following or each group you're in or the posts that you see make you feel. Because that's what matters. Like I don't follow many social media managers because it really kicks off my own insecurities. It brings up that comparison for me, which isn't healthy. So I don't follow them. And like it's okay. You don't have to have a reason to not follow somebody. You can just not follow them.
Excellent. Oh, some really good tips there. And so just to sort of round off, last question, what is your top eco business tip?
Find a community, basically. That's been sort of the most supportive thing for me, because it's not just about like finding other people who are doing similar things or who care about similar things. Those people can then also recommend stuff to you so that you can do more and you can do better. So having that sort of community of people that you can go like, oh, this is so hard right now. Everybody wants me to do X thing that is really against my morals. And just have people support you, and also go like, oh, I really want to find like eco-friendly air conditioning. That's what I'm currently looking for. And be able to just have a community of people you can ask for recommendations like that, and that you can trust them.
Definitely. Great tip. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know you can find you at bushnellcommunitysolutions.com. You can find it on Facebook at Social for Humans. And you're also launching a membership on Friday. So
yes, it launched last Friday. Yes.
Oh, you've launched it already. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, that's socialmediaforhumans.club.
Excellent. All right. Well, I definitely will share all of those links with everyone. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Really good to have you on the show, and such great tips there. So lots to take away. To our viewers who are watching, thanks for watching. Sorry about the mishap at the start. If you're catching the replay as well, please keep your questions coming in the comments, and we'll get to those throughout the day. And we'll see you all same time next week. Goodbye.